Currently we're in the off season. Players are on the beach, they've switched off mentally, and that's why if you're serious about your football, it's your biggest opportunity to get ahead. See, the thing about the off season is there's no coach watching, there's no sessions being structured for you. It's pretty much you versus you. And that's where a lot of players, they lose that discipline, they lose those standards. And if you then take this period of time seriously, it's your real chance to get ahead of everybody else before the season starts. So whilst I'm on my walk, I'm going to talk you through what my expectations of footballers are during the off season when they're trying to operate at a professional standard and do things at an elite level. So first and foremost, your session should be done properly every single time. Real intensity with no distractions. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. You don't need to be on the phone when you're in the gym. Too often I'll see people going to the gym and they're pretty much just ticking a box really when they've gone. They've not actually got anything from the session because they haven't done anything with any actual intensity. Just because it's the off season doesn't mean that you shouldn't be applying the same intensity as you would do if it was a session in season. Second, your session should have some real purpose behind them. Everything should have a plan. You're not just there wondering what you're going to do when you turn up to the gym. You know that you're going to be working on your strength, speed, power, whatever it might be. Everything has a purpose and you know what you're working towards. Your recovery should be a priority for you, not something that you think about when you're feeling a little bit leggy halfway through the week. You should plan your recovery just as you plan your session. What method of recovery are you going to do on each day? Treat the recovery just as you're treating your actual training sessions itself. Your nutrition should be locked in. You should be eating for performance, fueling before your sessions, recovering after, knowing what your macros are going to be and what your calorie targets are. Obviously, we're in the off season at the minute, so it's going to be a little bit different to if you were eating in season, but you should be tracking your food all the same. What you don't want to be doing is turning up to pre-season 2 or 3 kilos overweight, and then you're going to spend the first couple of weeks not actually being able to train properly in pre-season because your focus is just on trying to lose the weight that you've gained in the off season. You should be getting 89 hours sleep per night as an absolute non-negotiable. Simply put, you're just not going to recover if you're only having 5 to 6 hours. The off season is a period of time where generally your training load can increase because you haven't got fixtures to prioritise. But as a result of this increased training load, your recovery needs to match that. And sleep is going to be your biggest tool in terms of recovery, and it's absolutely free, and it's probably one of the most underutilized things that I see with players that I speak to and that I work with. So make sure you've got that locked in alongside your nutrition and then any other additional recovery methods that you're using. All of your sessions should be logged accurately, so then you've got the data to make decisions. You can then tell if you're making any progression based on the work you're doing, and then make any adjustments based off the actual data that you've got, not just how you're feeling at a certain period. And then you should be trying to build the habits of an elite performer. Get your morning routines and evening routines locked in properly. Make sure that you're still operating at the same standard as what you would do as if you were in season, and trying to have those professional habits. And I think, in my opinion, this is something that I see a lot of, particularly non-players, that they're just not doing in terms of really operating at a high level. And maybe it's partly because they don't always see the benefits of it. And I'll give you an example. Before I came out on my walk, a player that I've worked with in the past gave me a message, and he said, "Max, I just wanted to say thank you for everything you've done for me," pretty much. He said that he'd just done a session where he was training with a couple of players from the championship, and he beat all of them in the running. He felt that he could hold his own within the session itself, and he said a lot of that is because, look, we haven't worked together for about 3 months now, but he'd built the personal habits, the professional standards of what I'd expected from him when we were working together probably for about a 9-month period. And that's something that I see quite a lot. I think a lot of players think that they're doing things at a high level and operating at a high level, and they're really just not, to be honest with you. And I think part of that is because they maybe haven't seen what the actual expectations of professional footballers are and what they're expected to do. So if you can really get those habits locked in, that's something that you can massively then get ahead of everybody else, because not many people out there are actually doing it to a high level. Now, when you work with me, these are the only standards that I accept. I don't let people drop below this, and this is what's helped players get their professional contracts, jump up 2 or 3 divisions if they're playing non-league, move from academy football through to full-time football. And in my opinion, it's not a coincidence that as soon as people start to, what I call, sweat the small stuff in terms of do their nutrition, their recovery, their morning routines, their evening routines, all to the highest standard possible and to that elite level, that their football performance on the pitch then increases as well. So hopefully that's made sense to you whilst I've been walking and talking around what the kind of expectations are for people during the off season if they want to be doing things to a real elite level. If you want some more information to help you through your off season, then you can find that for free inside the Football Performance Vault. I'll put the link to that in my bio. It's completely free and you can access that. And likewise, if you're watching this and thinking to yourself, okay, I need some help, not only with my performance, but actually trying to operate at more of a professional level and have those elite standards myself, then I've got the option that you can work with me one-to-one. And again, I'll put the link to my inquiry page in my bio. you can book a call with me and we can have a discussion there and see if you'd be a right fit to work with me one-to-one. But hope you've enjoyed this one. Like, give it a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.